It is the award-winning Go Show with Mike Russell. I'm your host, Mike Russell. We celebrate all things outdoors in this beautiful outdoor playground of a state that we live in. You can find us on Facebook.com/The Go Show with Mike Russell and on Instagram at The Go Show with Mike Russell. YouTube, our latest video is going to be this very video. And I do say award-winning Go Show, and I have proof because the man joining me is one of the commissioners for your Arizona Game and Fish Department, and he handed me the award and made me look up the word ubiquitous, which I use all the time. Kurt Davis joins us. Kurt, now you are the chairman of the commission, correct?
Correct. This is the second time I've been in the role of chairman, and I'm about to enter my 10th year on the commission.
Okay, and we appreciate your service on the commission, and we appreciate everything that you've done. But today we are going to talk about a very specific thing that's getting some people riled up. I got a lot of text, a lot of emails, people asking about this. It is the game trail camera ban here in the state of Arizona. Got people pretty fired up. But let's back up. I want to understand the process first, and I want everyone to understand the process so we can move through this and find out what everybody's logic was and how we got to the place we are today. So the commission hierarchy, as I understand it, it is Governor Ducey, the commission, Ty Gray, the director, correct? Is that where we're at?
Correct. The governor appoints the commissioners. The commission hires a director and oversees and sets policy for the department.
Okay. And so how many commissioners are there?
There are 5 commissioners. You serve a 5-year term. So every year we have a new commissioner. So in essence, we have a new commission every year because personalities change over time.
Sure. And the makeup of the commission, to be appointed to be commissioned, do you have to have game and fish experience? Do you just have to know somebody, or how do you get appointed to or appointed by the governor?
You apply to be on the commission. Every year, the governor's office announces an appointment process. You apply to be on the commission, and there is a selection board that determines who's going to be interviewed. Then they do interviews, and they have to send no fewer than 2, no more than 5 names to the governor for consideration. And no 2 commissioners can be from the same county, and no more than 3 commissioners can be from the same party. So there are pieces of this that have to, are managed. So for example, this year, the governor is about to appoint a new commissioner, and that commissioner could not be a Republican, and then they couldn't be from any of the 4 counties of the other the current commissioners.
Okay,
so it's somewhat it's not complicated, but it's a little complicated.
Okay, and then let's say now, how often do you meet to consider what proposals or bans or reintroduction of something? How often do you meet for that?
We have 11 formal meetings a year, which we do around the state, which is so basically monthly. We don't meet in October because it's prime hunting season, so a little hard to schedule the commission. We also have what's called 2 workshops. Those workshops are where we deal with certain issues in a more relaxed format. And then there are special meetings that do occur. Last year, I think we had 2 or 3 special meetings that we have to convene the commission. It's a time-intensive job. It's an honor of a lifetime. But it is a time-intensive job. You work between meetings. We have subcommittees of the commission. You have public meetings. You have people that ask you to come speak. You have people that come ask you so they can beat up on you. I mean, it's just part of the job. It's a wonderful non-paid job, Mike. And I will tell anybody it's an honor of a lifetime. And if you're interested in wildlife issues, you should apply.
In application, you are probably speaking to someone who thinks, this is a good idea. I might want to get involved in that. Maybe I want to do that instead of run for Congress. So, what type of background do you need for that? Do you have to have any type of outdoor?
Well, to get through the selection process, the selection board looks at your experience. You don't have to be a biologist. Some background in biology is always helpful. Some background working with hunting and angling organizations is helpful. If you have experience on the land as a landowner lessee, one of our commissioners is a rancher. That brings valuable perspective to the commission. If you are if you're a birder or an OHV or those are all attributes that can benefit the commission. Most importantly, are you a dedicated citizen that cares about the perpetuating over 820 species of wildlife in our state, which is what the commission is responsible for, not just game animals, over 820 species, which makes Arizona, we have the most wildlife species in the country other than a state that can count ocean fish.
I keep preaching that because I think that is one of the key things when anyone says, "Oh, game and fish, and they need to do this," and I'm like,
It's
I think out of the 820 species, what 60 are game species?
Yeah, if that.
Around there, if that. Okay,
If that.
so
Right.
there's several other hundred, but they all fit into the system of the game species. So it's all tied in circle of life kind of thing.
And we receive no taxpayer general fund dollars. So, as I like to tell people, we eat what we kill. We fund conservation with the fees, licenses, and the taxes you pay on like certain equipment, hunting equipment. We live on that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we fund conservation. And by the way, it's a great model.
It is.
America and North America has the best conservation efforts in the world. There's nobody close. And it's done by people like you and me that are in the field, enjoying the outdoors in lots of different ways. That's what funds conservation.
Kurt Davis is joining us. He is the chairman of the commission for Arizona Game and Fish Department. Now, let's say I want to bring forward a proposal. I want to bring forward a proposal to paint targets on the side of every elk in the field. So how do I start that? How do I bring that to the commission for a vote?
You can actually petition the commission. You can go online. There's a website on the AZGFD.org website. There's a commission button. You can send us a note saying, I want you to consider X, Y, or Z. You can send that to the department. There's an actual petition process if you have an idea. Or you can come to a public meeting and you can say, here's an idea that I have. We can't respond to that at that meeting because it's not on the agenda, but we refer it to the department to begin to take a look at that issue. And we have people that petition things all the time. And we do examine those. And some of them ultimately become rule or policy. Some don't. But it's a very transparent public process.
And once that process kicks off, so let's say I bring it to a public meeting, and then does it have to go to an agenda before it's considered, or is it something that the department brings to you?
Well, the department will examine it, and then working with the chair / the entire commission, we set agendas for meetings. The department makes recommendations, and the commission disposes of those recommendations, changes them, alters them, tell them to go back to the drawing board. All of those things happen and do happen currently on all kinds of policy ideas. Things that are related to, like we get people that say, hey, I think we should have more elk tags. We set hunts by we set regulations every year. And those regulations are set from what we call our guidelines. We have scientific guidelines that we use in setting the number of tags. And it's based on science. It's based on all kinds of inputs. What our professionals are seeing in the field, our wildlife managers, our actual physical counts by air flight, by ground pounding, by other biological information, by information provided to us by sportsmen and women that let us know, did they harvest something? Did they not harvest something? All of that is used to create guidelines. And then from those guidelines, we establish the number of tags per unit, per hunt, per kind of hunt, muzzleloader, rifle, archery, those kinds of things. All of that's a scientific process. And then we have a subcommittee of the commission that examines we call them hunt recommendations, examines those before they go to the full commission. So we've established what I consider a very robust subcommittee process that has two commissioners paying even greater detail.
So it's not just somebody standing up at an event saying, "I want you to do this," and the five of you vote on it. There's a lot of detail. So because of that, that's why I wanted to cover this, so everyone starts to understand the thought of banning trail cameras and why that went to you to be opened up for public comment. So when we come back with Kurt Davis from your Arizona Game and Fish Department's commission, he is the chairman of the commission. We are going to talk about this trail camera ban. It's coming up next right here on the Go Show. And we continue our discussion with Kurt Davis he's one of the commissioners, one of the five commissioners. He's actually the chairman of the commission for your Arizona Game and Fish Department. And let's talk about it. We've gone over the process. And if you've missed the process, I want you to go back before you listen to this, because I want you to catch how it all works and how we got to this trail cam ban. Now, Commissioner Davis, I've seen several emails, several texts. Get your pitchforks, get your torches. We're going after this. I can't believe they have a trail cam ban in 2020. After everything was taken from us, now they take away stuff for our hunting, our outdoor love, our outdoor passion. It hasn't even. It's not official yet. It's just
No.
You guys just voted to make it public comment, open it up to public comments, correct?
Yeah. So the rule making process is the commission can open a rules package, is what it's called. We vote to open the rules package, and we have to refer for comment specific language, not a concept, not a vagary. We have to provide, if we're going to do that, specific language. Then that goes out for comment. The department evaluates those comments. The commission evaluates those comments. We consider those, and then we can either continue with the language as is, we can modify the language and send it back out for comment, or we can take no action. And so the place we're at in this rule package is we've opened the rules package and sent out language for a comment. Those comments are due by the end of January.
Okay.
To be in the official record.
And so everyone that sent me a text or an email should go on to azgfd.gov and find that and make their comment to you.
Yes, and I can even give you an email address, rulemaking@azgfd.gov. Rulemaking@azgfd.gov.
You didn't even government that email address. That sounds perfect. That's actually good job. Well done.
Yeah.
All right. I'm very proud of you on that one. Okay. So my first concern, and I'm going to get this out of the way because I am no fan of HSUS by any stretch of the imagination. Am I a fan of Humane Society of the United States? Local humane societies, love them. HSUS, not a fan one bit. Did they
neither am I.
Forward?
I'm not on their Man of the Year award.
I like that. Did they bring this forward?
No.
Okay.
What happened in 2018? So look, we got to level set all of this. In 2018, the commission put out two potential rule packages. One was to ban transmitting cameras, and the other was to ban the use of passive or non-transmitting cameras for the take of wildlife. Again, I always try to make very clear, this does not govern the use of cameras for your personal enjoyment, for viewing wildlife. It's simply what we regulate is the devices that are allowed to be used to take or harvest wildlife. So in 2018, we banned the use of transmitting cameras, the ones that hook directly to your phone, your iPad, whatever, your laptop. Those are already banned for the take of wildlife. We then, after that, we did not ban the use of passive cameras. Subsequent to that, we had a petition with over 200 people on it saying, why didn't you deal with passive cameras? As you're a commissioner, you go to public meetings, you get people that say, why aren't you dealing with that? We get emails, you get letters, you get it all. And so we chose to open up the rules package on the passive cameras. It has nothing to do with HSUS.
Okay, good.
Now, HSUS uses these kinds of issues for both legislative purposes and for ballot propositions. Anybody who watches the history of what they do and how they do it, they have a very systematic step process that they use. So, but I want to be clear about that. This is really when we chose to reopen this rule package, put this back out on the table for comment. People have to remember Arizona is the fastest growing state in the country. We have an increase in hunting licenses. We have an increase in hunting applications for the hunts. We have a technology that has gotten cheaper and cheaper. If you remember back in the old days, a camera was a really expensive proposition.
Absolutely.
Now if you go to the store, they sell them in 6-packs because the cost of the technology is so much cheaper. We're an arid state, a desert state, where you and I can identify where every water hole is in the state of Arizona, either through our hunting apps, through Game and Fish's website, through our own knowledge of units. You can identify everywhere water is. Unlike Minnesota, where there can be a new water hole every 2 weeks, every time it rains or snows. We don't have that in Arizona. We have very specific water areas. That's part of the consideration or equation of this. Then we have partnerships, very important partnerships with landowners, cattle growers, who lease lands to grow cattle that provide us food. They are our partners as well because they help provide access to their private lands and then we, have access to the leased lands. But we need to be partners in conservation. Well, you now see 20 and 30 cameras on a water hole, and people are coming in and out to check those cameras. That affects that livestock operator's operation. It affects whether that cattle can get to water. That doesn't happen in every unit and every place, but it's a growing problem. Because population's grown, access to the cameras has grown. That's another conflict. Now let's jump to another issue. You have the first hunt in Unit 1. I'm just making this up, and I have the second hunt in Unit 1, which, by the way, I've never had a hunt in Unit 1 because when you're on the commission, you never get drawn. But anyhow, you're trying to have your hunt of the first hunt of the season. I'm going in, traversing into your hunt, looking at my camera, getting my camera data during your hunt, and we're having some hunter conflict that's occurred. That's not a healthy situation. Excuse me. And then there's a social aspect to this. And the social aspect is, how does the public view the tools and the methodologies that we use for the take of wildlife? We are the second most urbanized state in the country, only behind Rhode Island. We are more urbanized than Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, all those places that we think of as being cement, pockets. We're more urbanized than they are. Tucson and the greater Phoenix area is well over 80% of the state's population. Some of those people are not hunters. They're not outdoors folks. We all know that. How they view what we do turns into things that happen at the legislature, happen in the ballot box. And a lot of those folks, quite frankly, Arizona knows very well that our ballot box has been used to do a lot of damage over the years. How people socially view things like cameras for the take of wildlife, the use of technology, does matter socially. And those are all realities. And then there's a biological issue that we don't have the science yet. But there is a potential biological issue that, are we inadvertently beginning to alter the behavior of wildlife because we have people ingressing and regressing out of water? We have cameras taking pictures all the time. Is that changing wildlife behavior? And then does that change predator behavior? We don't know that. And I'm the first to admit, we don't have the science on that yet, but there are some people beginning to have concerns about that in the scientific world. And the commission's job is to think out 10 and 20 years. What does our population look like in 10 and 20 years? How many cameras will be on the landscape in 10 or 20 years? How will they view the devices we use for the harvest of wildlife 10 and 20 years from now? Those are all factors. It's a complicated issue. And I want to be clear, the commission doesn't believe that people that use cameras now are bad people, that they're doing anything wrong. They're not. This is about the future. And, we ban things like drones. Okay. We ban baiting. There's we're always working on the regulations that govern the harvest of wildlife. This is one of many components of that. And I always remind people, man has hunted for thousands of years without cameras. And my guess is they'll be able to hunt, hopefully, for thousands of years in the future, even if there's no cameras.
I always make I don't make many friends with the big box stores when I say things like, just remember when you're going to buy that $400 fishing pole, your grandparents, my grandparents outfished us with cane fishing poles. So
yeah.
Now, just to wrap up here, and Kurt Davis, thank you so much for joining me, Commissioner. This has been definitely enlightening, and I think for a lot of people that really want to know what's going on with this trail cam ban. So we're clear, the ban is not official. It was a 5-0 vote by the commission to open it up to public discussion and comment, correct?
That's right. You're right on the money. And we hope that people will send us their viewpoints, their ideas. By the way, both pro and con. A lot of times people who are opposed to something tend to sometimes be very loud, and the people who support something are like, oh, they're going down that path and I don't need to say anything. We need to hear from people that also support the notion, or why they support the notion of altering how we use this technology for the take of wildlife. And we have been hearing from many very well thought out values. And again, this is not good guy versus bad guy, good girl versus bad girl. This is an honest discussion between sportsmen and women about what the future and our heritage looks like. And what are we teaching our children about the future of wildlife management? And how does this impact the ability to manage 820 plus species, so that in the future, your grandkids, my grandkids, our great grandchildren get to traverse the wilds of Arizona and see the same 820 some species, and see people out there enjoying that campfire after a successful day in the field on a hunt. All of that is part of this conversation, as is all the technologies, self-shooting rifles, heat-seeking bullets, drones. I mean, we can go down the list, right? Heat-seeking optics.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Mm-hmm. These are all realities that a commission deals with. Cameras are part of that. And what does our future look like? And I do want to close, if I can, Mike. And I got a wonderful letter the other day from a very long in the tooth sportsman. And he reminded me, as a commissioner, your responsibility is as much to protect our heritage, to protect our honor, to protect how we go about this wonderful opportunity we have in North America and in Arizona to take wildlife and do it for the benefit of all wildlife. And that's really, at the end of the day, that's what the crux to this is about.
Kurt Davis, the chairman of the commission for your Arizona Game and Fish Department. The commissioners 5 strong and open for public comment on the trail cam ban. Thanks for hanging out with us. We got to get out of here. You can catch even more of this interview on our YouTube channel, as we had to, just for time, we had to take little things out here for right here on the radio. But we'll be back next week right here on the Go Show. We'll see you then.
Thanks for your service, Mike.